Ladies and gentlemen, listen. Listen to me right now. Some of you are waiting for a sign, waiting for the world to confirm what God already told you. But I'm here to tell you, that time is up. After March 25, 2025, things won't be the same. Some people will be looking for you, but you won't be there. Some will expect you to chase them, to beg them, to prove yourself over and over. But that's not your assignment anymore. God has been calling his people to stand, not to crawl, to lead, not to follow. You've spent years explaining yourself, proving your faith, trying to fit in where you were never meant to belong. And God is saying, enough. No more running after folks who don't want the truth. No more lowering your light so others feel comfortable in the dark. No more apologizing for the anointing on your life. If they wanted to listen, they would have by now. If they wanted to walk with you, they'd be walking. Because let me tell you something, God is about to separate the real from the fake, the committed from the comfortable. You are stepping into a time where you will no longer be tolerated. And that's okay. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out. You hear what I'm saying? The world is going to look different. The enemy is going to try harder. But that doesn't change what God promised. No, no, no. If he said he will provide, he will provide. If he said he will protect, he will protect. If he said he is with you, he is with you. So stop doubting. Stop second guessing. Stop looking back. Look ahead. Walk forward. Move in the authority God has given you. You don't have time to waste on people who reject the truth, on situations that keep you bound. You've got a mission, you've got a purpose, and you've got God on your side. So go. Stand firm. Speak boldly. Love fiercely. But don't chase. Don't beg. If they're meant to walk with you, they will. If not, let them go. Because your destiny, your calling, your future, it's not tied to those who refuse to move. The time is now. The choice is yours. Let's Go Faith will be tested like never before. This is not just a phrase, not just a warning. It is a reality that is coming, and it will separate the strong from the weak, the true from the false. The days ahead will not be easy for those who claim to follow Christ, because the pressure will increase, the opposition will rise, and the voices of the world will grow louder. The distractions will multiply, pulling people in different directions, making it harder to stay focused, harder to stay committed. The comfort that many have known in their faith will be challenged. And only those who are deeply rooted will withstand the storm. There will be moments when standing firm will cost friendships, relationships, opportunities. There will be times when silence will seem like the easier option, when blending in will feel safer. The temptation to compromise will be stronger than ever because the world will demand it. The line between right and wrong will be blurred. The difference between truth and deception will not always be obvious. Many will fall away, not because they planned to, but because they were not prepared, because they thought their faith was strong until it was tested. This test will not come in one form, it will come in waves. Some will face rejection for their beliefs, others will experience loss, financial struggles, or unexpected hardships. Some will wonder why God is allowing the difficulties, why the prayers seem unanswered, why the battles seem unending. But this is the refining process, the fire that separates the pure from the impure, the committed from the comfortable. It will not be enough to simply say, I believe. Those words will be tested by action, by endurance, by unwavering trust when everything around them says to give up. No more lukewarm Christianity. The time for halfway commitment is over. The days of picking and choosing when to follow God, when to obey His word, when to stand for truth, they are coming to an end. Too many have treated faith like an option rather than a foundation, something to turn to when convenient, but not something to live by every single day. That kind of faith will not survive what is coming, the pressures of this world, the increasing hostility toward righteousness, the growing deception spreading across every nation. It will force a decision, either be all in or be left behind in the confusion. Lukewarm faith has always been comfortable. But comfort is dangerous. It allows compromise, justifies sin, and makes excuses for inaction. It is the faith that says, I love God, but remains silent when truth is under attack. It is the faith that attends church, but refuses to live differently outside of it. It is the faith that believes in Jesus, but refuses to surrender fully to his will. That kind of faith is not faith at all. It is deception, and the deception will be exposed. The coming days will demand real commitment. It will no longer be enough to say, I believe. It will require action. It will require sacrifice. It will require choosing God when everything around says to walk away. It will mean standing alone at times, facing rejection, losing relationships, letting go of things that no longer align with God's plan. Those who try to stay in the middle will be forced to one side or the other. There will be no more room for passive belief. The choice will be clear. Fully surrender to God or be swept away by the world. God's plan is already in motion. Long before anyone saw the signs, long before the world began shifting, he had already set things in place. Nothing happening now is a surprise to him. The confusion, the chaos, the division, it was all foretold. Every event, every change, every challenge is unfolding exactly as he said it would. People may wonder what is coming next, but God is not wondering. He is not scrambling to adjust. He is not making last-minute decisions. What he has spoken will come to pass, and nothing can stop it. There are those who are waiting for a clear sign, for undeniable proof that things are shifting, but the evidence is already here. The decline of morality, the rise of deception, the push against truth. It is all part of what was written. God is not reacting to the world is responding to what he already put in motion. The separation between those who truly follow him and those who only claim to will become more evident. The shaking will reveal who was standing on the rock and who was standing on sand. Some doors will close, some opportunities will disappear, some relationships will end, but it is all part of the process. The things that are being removed are not accidents, they are alignments. What seemed like setbacks will be setups for what God has already planned. Those who trust him will not be caught off guard. Those who stay close to him will not be left without direction. The question is not whether his plan is unfolding, it is whether people will recognize it, whether they will surrender to it, or whether they will resist it and find themselves fighting against what was meant to elevate them. Persecution will increase. This is not a possibility, it is a certainty. The world is growing more intolerant of truth, more resistant to righteousness, and more hostile toward those who stand for Christ. What was once subtle opposition will become open confrontation. What was once hidden will be exposed. People will no longer be able to blend in, to hide their faith behind convenience. The choice will become clear. Stand for God and face the cost, or compromise and be accepted. It will not just be in distant nations or in unfamiliar places, it will happen everywhere. In workplaces, in schools, in families, in communities. Those who once tolerated Christianity will begin to reject it. The pressure to conform will rise, and those who refuse will be labeled as intolerant, hateful, or dangerous. Laws will shift, policies will change, and what was once considered moral will be called offensive. Those who live by biblical truth will be mocked, silenced, and even punished. Friends will turn away, relationships will be broken, and faith will be tested like never before. It will not always come through violence or imprisonment. Sometimes it will be in the form of exclusion, losing opportunities, being overlooked, having doors shut because of convictions that do not align with the world. There will be moments when it feels easier to stay quiet, to compromise just a little, to avoid the pressure. But this is the reality of true discipleship. The cost of following Christ has always been high, and now it will become undeniable. Those who stand firm will see opposition, but they will also see God's power. They will experience his provision, his strength, and his presence in ways they never have before. The question is not if persecution will come, but who will endure when it does. Provision will come from unexpected places. When resources seem to run dry, when familiar sources of support disappear, when the usual ways of survival no longer work, God will provide in ways no one saw coming. The systems of the world are failing, and dependency on them will leave many feeling stranded. But those who trust in God will not be abandoned. What seemed like loss will be replaced with something greater. What seemed like the end of opportunity will be the beginning of supernatural supply. God has never needed the world's systems to sustain his people. He fed Elijah through ravens. He provided manna in the wilderness. He multiplied a small meal to feed thousands. He is not limited by economy, by location, by circumstance. When one door closes, another opens. When one resource disappears, another appears. But it will not always come from the expected places. It may not look the way people assume provision should look. It may come through unfamiliar hands, through people least expected, through paths no one planned for. Jobs may be lost, businesses may struggle, prices may rise, but none of that limits God's ability to provide. Those who rely on him will find sustenance in ways that defy logic. Help will arise from sources that were never considered. There will be moments when provision seems delayed, when it looks like nothing is happening. But that is when faith will be tested. The ones who trust God, even in uncertainty, will witness miracles others miss. Needs will be met, ways will be made. And when people look back, they will realize that God was orchestrating provision long before they even knew they needed it. Nothing will run out for those who remain in him. Strength will replace fear, the fear that once held people back, that kept them silent, that made them hesitate to walk in their calling, will begin to lose its grip. The uncertainty that made many question if they could endure, if they were truly ready for what's coming, will be overtaken by a strength they did not even know they had. This is not a strength that comes from human effort or motivation. It is a supernatural strength, a divine empowerment that rises up when everything around says to be afraid. Fear has ruled for too long. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of the unknown. It has caused people to shrink back when they were meant to stand tall. It has silenced voices that were meant to speak. It has kept many bound in hesitation, waiting for the perfect moment to step forward. But now, that fear is breaking. The fire inside will become greater than the pressure outside. The urgency of the times will awaken a boldness that cannot be ignored. Strength is coming. Not the kind that wavers when opposition rises. Not the kind that fades when things get difficult. This strength will be unshakable, unwavering. It will not be affected by opinions, by circumstances, by what the world says is possible. It will be the kind of strength that allows people to walk through storms and not be moved. The kind of strength that stands firm when everything around is falling apart. This is what happens when fear is replaced. When trust in God becomes greater than trust in comfort. When faith becomes greater than doubt. The fear that once held people back will be nothing compared to the power that will now push them forward. No more chasing people who don't want God. The time for pleading, persuading, and endlessly explaining is coming to an end. The truth has been spoken, the message has been shared, and those who want to hear have already opened their hearts. Those who continue to reject it are making their choice. It is not the job of believers to force anyone to see what they refuse to acknowledge. The responsibility is to plant the seed, to shine the light, to live the truth, but not to beg people to receive it. For too long, many have exhausted themselves trying to pull others into a relationship with God when those people have no desire to change. They have poured out prayers for those who ignore conviction, given wisdom to those who refuse to listen, and waited for those who never intended to come. But now, the focus must shift. The ones who are truly seeking, the ones whose hearts are ready, the ones who are longing for truth, those are the ones who need attention. There is no more time to waste on those who have already made up their minds against God. Jesus never chased after those who walked away. He spoke the truth, and those who had ears to hear responded. He let the rich young ruler go. He didn't run after the crowds when they left. He knew that forcing someone into faith is not faith at all. The days ahead will require discernment, knowing when to pour out and when to move on. The world is shifting, the urgency is increasing, and the time for chasing those who reject God is over. Those who are meant to come will come. Those who refuse, let them go. The mission is too great to waste time where there is no fruit. No more begging to be accepted. The need for approval, the desire to fit in, the longing to be understood. It is all coming to an end. Too many have spent years trying to prove themselves, trying to explain their faith, trying to make people see their worth. But that season is over. Those who were meant to see it already do. Those who refuse to accept it never will. There is no more time to water down the truth just to make it easier for others to digest. Rejection has always been part of the journey. Jesus himself was rejected, misunderstood, criticized, and abandoned by those who should have known who he was. If the Son of God was not accepted by everyone, why should his followers expect to be? The approval of the world is meaningless. The validation of people who do not walk with God is empty. The only acceptance that matters is the one that comes from him. No more waiting to be invited to the table when God has already prepared a seat elsewhere. No more seeking affirmation from people who do not share the same spirit, the same mission, the same calling. No more apologizing for being different, for being chosen, for standing firm when others compromise. There will always be those who do not understand, who do not agree, who do not want to associate with truth. That is their choice. But those who carry God's purpose cannot afford to keep looking back, wondering why certain people never embraced them. The time has come to walk boldly, to stand confidently, to embrace the reality that not everyone will approve. And that is perfectly fine. The right people, the right opportunities, the right doors will open, and they will not require begging to enter. Miracles will still happen. Despite what the world says, despite the doubt that has crept into many hearts, despite the increasing darkness, God's power has not diminished. The same God who parted the Red Sea, who raised the dead, who healed the blind, who multiplied the loaves and fish, is still working. His hand has not been shortened, and his authority has not weakened. The problem has never been whether miracles exist. The problem is whether people still believe. There will be those who say miracles are a thing of the past, that God no longer moves as he once did, but they will be proven wrong. The times ahead will demand supernatural intervention, and God will not abandon his people. Provision will come in ways no one expected. Healing will take place when doctors say there is no hope. Protection will be given when danger is unavoidable. Doors will open that no man could have opened. Situations that seemed impossible will shift in an instant. But miracles will not always look the way people expect. Sometimes they will come quietly, unnoticed at first, until looking back reveals that God's hand was there all along. Other times they will be undeniable, shaking the faith of those who doubted. The key is to trust, to believe even before seeing, to know that God is still working even when circumstances say otherwise. The world may grow darker, but miracles do not cease because of opposition. In fact, the greater the resistance, the greater the manifestation of God's power. Those who keep their eyes on him will witness things that defy logic, that surpass human understanding. The supernatural has not ended, and for those who remain faithful, they will see it unfold before their very eyes. A great separation is coming. The days of blending in, of standing in the middle, of trying to live with one foot in the world and one foot in God's kingdom are ending. The lines are being drawn. The difference between those who are truly committed and those who are only pretending will become clearer than ever. There will be no more room for lukewarm faith, no more space for half-hearted devotion. The pressures of the times will force people to choose, stand with God or stand with the world. This separation will not be subtle. Families will be divided, friendships will shift. Some relationships will not survive the weight of this decision. Those who refuse to compromise will find themselves walking away from people they once held close. The things that once connected them to others will no longer be enough. There will be a distinction between those who are willing to endure the cost of following Christ and those who would rather avoid the hardship. The true church will rise, and those who were only there for comfort, for status, or for convenience will fade away. Many will struggle with this separation, trying to hold on to what God is removing. But what is being divided must be divided. This is not about personal preference or emotion. This is about alignment with truth. Those who love the world more than God will make their choice. Those who fear man more than they fear the Lord will reveal where they stand. And those who are truly his will stand firm. even if it means standing alone. The shaking will not destroy the faithful, it will establish them. The ones who remain will be the ones who were always meant to. Some doors will close forever. Opportunities that once seemed within reach will no longer be available. Relationships that were once central will fade away. Paths that once felt promising will be shut off completely. This is not by accident. This is not punishment. This is alignment. God is removing everything that no longer fits the next season. What worked before will not work now. What was once a blessing may now be a distraction. The doors that close are not meant to be pried open again. There will be moments of confusion, moments of frustration, even moments of grief. People will question why certain things are no longer accessible, why certain people have walked away, why certain dreams seem to have slipped away. But what feels like loss is actually protection. What seems like rejection is actually redirection. Some doors are closing because they were never meant to be permanent. They served their purpose, but they cannot go where God is leading next. Trying to hold on to what is closing will only cause unnecessary pain. The more people resist, the harder it will be to move forward. This is a season where trust will be required. Trust that what God removes, He replaces with better. Trust that every closed door is making room for something greater. Not every loss is a setback. Some are necessary steps toward purpose. Not every goodbye is a tragedy. Some are divine separations. The time for chasing what is gone is over. What is meant to stay will stay, and what is meant to leave will leave. The right doors will open in their appointed time. The wrong ones will never open again. And for those who trust Him, what's ahead will be far greater than anything left behind. A new breed of leaders will rise. These will not be the ones who seek power, fame, or influence for their own gain. They will not be the ones who compromise truth to be liked or soften their message to fit the world's standards. These leaders will be bold, unshaken, and unafraid. They will not come from expected places, nor will they fit the mold of tradition. Some will rise from obscurity, from backgrounds that others have overlooked. They will not be chosen by men, but by God Himself, refined in the fire of trials and prepared for the battles ahead. This new generation of leaders will not be concerned with pleasing people. They will not be swayed by opinions, trends, or pressure. They will stand firm in righteousness, speaking truth, even when it is unpopular. They will walk in integrity, refusing to bow to corruption. They will operate in power, but not their own. Power from the Holy Spirit, an authority that cannot be bought or imitated. They will not seek titles or validation, but their impact will be undeniable. These leaders will be warriors, carrying the fire of revival and the weight of divine responsibility. They will challenge systems that oppose God. They will confront deception with truth. They will raise up others, not keeping the spotlight for themselves, but equipping those around them. They will not fear persecution or rejection because they will understand that their mission is greater than their comfort. The shift has already begun. The leaders who were built for this time are already being positioned. They will emerge at the appointed moment, stepping into roles that others abandoned, filling spaces where compromise once ruled. And when they rise, they will not back down, for they know they were chosen for such a time as this. The world will become darker. This is not an exaggeration or a possibility, it is a certainty. The signs are everywhere. Morality is being redefined. Truth is being distorted. What was once considered right is now called wrong, and what was once evil is being celebrated. The world is not evolving into something better, it is decaying, drifting further from God with each passing day. Corruption is increasing, violence is spreading, deception is running unchecked. The love of many is growing cold, and the weight of sin is pressing down heavier than ever. This darkness will not be hidden, it will be in the open, unashamed and aggressive. Laws will change to support what God calls wicked. Society will pressure people to conform, to accept, to embrace things that go against righteousness. Those who refuse will be ridiculed, cast aside, even punished. Many who once stood firm will begin to waver, giving in to the culture to avoid opposition. Churches will divide, leaders will fall. Some will abandon their faith altogether. The divide between light and darkness will become impossible to ignore. Fear will try to take hold as the world spirals further into chaos. Economic instability, wars, disasters, and lawlessness will make it seem as if hope is disappearing. People will look for security in governments, in technology, in human solutions, but nothing will bring the peace they seek. The only refuge will be in God. The darkness will be great, but it will not overcome those who belong to Him. This is the time when faith must be unshakable, when trust in God must be absolute. The world may be growing darker, but His light will shine even brighter through those who refuse to be consumed by fear. God will open supernatural paths when it seems like every door has shut, when every logical option has been exhausted, when all human solutions have failed. He will make a way. His paths are not bound by human limitations, and His provision is not restricted by earthly systems. What seems impossible to man is simple for Him. When His people face obstacles too great to overcome on their own, He will clear the way, leading them into places they never expected. These paths will not always be predictable or comfortable. Some will require walking by faith before they are fully revealed. They may not make sense at first, and they may challenge the very idea of what is possible. But those who trust in Him will see doors open that no one else can explain. Opportunities will come from places least expected. Resources will appear when there was nothing. Connections will be made that no human effort could have arranged. Just as He parted the Red Sea for Israel, just as He led His people through the wilderness with a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day, just as He made streams flow in the desert, He will do it again. The systems of the world may collapse, but His kingdom does not depend on them. He will create ways where none existed before. Those who listen to His voice, who follow His leading, will find themselves walking into blessings, protection, and provision beyond anything they could have imagined. The world will watch in amazement as His people thrive in situations where others fall. The supernatural will not be a rare occurrence. It will become the new reality for those who put their trust in Him completely. Not everyone will understand you. No matter how clearly you explain, no matter how passionately you speak, no matter how much evidence is before them, some people will never see what you see. They will question your faith, mock your convictions, and dismiss your calling. They will wonder why you don't live like them, why you don't compromise, why you refuse to bend when it would be easier to just go along with the crowd. They won't understand because they are not walking the same path. Following God sets you apart. It always has. Noah built an ark while everyone else laughed. Joseph spoke of dreams that his own brothers hated him for. Jesus Himself was rejected by His own people. The pattern has never changed. Those who are truly called by God will never fully fit in with the world. The deeper you walk with Him, the more misunderstood you will be. Some will say you have changed, that you are too extreme, that you are taking things too seriously. But what they call too much is simply obedience. You are not called to be understood by everyone. You are called to be faithful. There will be moments of loneliness, moments when you feel isolated, moments when even those closest to you do not see things the way you do. But that is not a sign to turn back. It is confirmation that you are walking the right path. The approval of people is temporary, but the approval of God is eternal. Keep moving forward, even when others don't get it. Keep standing firm, even when they question you. In the end, it won't matter who understood. You will see that every step of obedience was worth it. You will be hated but not forsaken. The moment you choose to stand for truth, you set yourself apart. The world does not hate compromise. The world does not hate silence. The world does not hate those who blend in. But the moment you refuse to bow, the moment you refuse to conform, the moment you speak when others remain quiet, that is when the hatred comes. It is not personal, it is spiritual. Darkness cannot stand the presence of light, and those who walk in truth will always expose what others try to hide. Jesus warned that His followers would be hated just as He was. He was despised, mocked, falsely accused, and crucified, not because He did anything wrong, but because He carried something the world could not understand. If they rejected Him, they will reject those who follow Him. But that rejection is not abandonment. That hatred is not a sign of defeat. It is proof that you are walking the right path. The opposition is not evidence of God's absence. It is confirmation of his presence in your life. No matter how intense the hatred becomes, you will not be forsaken. God does not send his people into battle and then leave them defenseless. He does not call his children and then abandon them when the pressure rises. When others turn their backs, he remains. When friends walk away, he stays. When the world pushes you aside, he draws you closer. There will be moments of loneliness, but you will never be alone. There will be attacks, but you will never be unprotected. The world may hate you for standing, but heaven is watching, strengthening, and preparing you for the victory that is already yours. Keep standing, because you are never standing alone. The time for compromise is over. There was a time when people could walk the middle ground, when they could blend in without fully taking a stand. That time is gone. The lines have been drawn, and there is no more room for half-hearted faith. No more lukewarm devotion, no more saying one thing and doing another. No more living for God in private, but denying him in public. The world is demanding allegiance, and those who truly belong to God will have to decide, stand firm or fall away. Compromise has always been the enemy of truth. It starts small, a little concession here, a small adjustment there, until suddenly the foundation is gone. Many have fallen, not because they rejected God outright, but because they allowed just enough of the world in to weaken their faith. That can no longer happen. The days ahead will require absolute conviction, an unshakable commitment to righteousness. There will be pressure to conform, to soften the message, to make faith more acceptable. But those who bend now will break later. It will not be easy. There will be losses. Some relationships will not survive. Some opportunities will disappear. Some doors will close permanently. But the cost of compromise is far greater than the cost of obedience. The world is changing, but God's truth has not. Those who refuse to stand for him now will find themselves standing for nothing at all. The time for second guessing is over. The time for playing both sides is finished. This is the moment to choose, to declare boldly where you stand, and to refuse to be moved. There is no more waiting, no more delaying, no more blending in. The only way forward is full commitment, no turning back, no wavering, no compromise. Kingdom warriors will rise. They will not be the ones the world expects. They will not come from places of privilege, nor will they seek recognition. These warriors will be forged in the fire of trials, strengthened through battles that should have broken them. They will not be easily shaken, nor will they bow to the pressures of the world. They will stand firm in faith, unmoved by fear, unbothered by opposition, ready to advance the kingdom of God no matter the cost. These warriors will not rely on human strength, for their power will come from the Spirit of God. They will not fight with swords or weapons of man, but with unshakable truth, unwavering faith, and the authority given to them by the King of Kings. They will rise in prayer, in boldness, in righteousness. They will not be distracted by worldly pursuits, nor will they be intimidated by those who oppose them. They will know who they are and whose they are, and that will make them unstoppable. This will not be a time for passive faith. The battle is real, and the warriors must be ready. Some will be called to speak, others to lead, others to move behind the scenes in intercession. Each will have a role, and each will be needed. They will be misunderstood, ridiculed, and rejected, but they will not retreat. They will carry the fire of revival, pushing back the darkness with every step they take. The world will try to silence them, but it will fail. The enemy will try to break them, but he will lose. This is the hour when the warriors of the kingdom will rise, not in arrogance, but in divine authority, standing as living testimonies of God's power and unshakable truth. Heaven's rewards will outweigh earth's struggles. Every sacrifice, every hardship, every tear shed in faith will be met with something far greater than the pain endured. The trials of this world are temporary, but what God has prepared is eternal. The moments of rejection, the seasons of loneliness, the weight of persecution, they will all fade in comparison to the glory that awaits. Nothing suffered for Christ is ever wasted. No battle fought in his name goes unnoticed. Every act of obedience, no matter how small, is seen and recorded by the one who never forgets. The world measures success by comfort, status, and possessions, but heaven operates by a different standard. Those who endure, those who stay faithful, those who refuse to give up even when the cost is high, will receive rewards beyond imagination. Crowns that do not fade, joy that cannot be taken, and a place in the presence of God Himself. There will be no regret for those who stood firm, only the overwhelming realization that everything endured was worth it. Right now, it may seem like the struggle is unending, like the pressures of life are unbearable, but this is not the end of the story. The pain is real, but so is the promise. The suffering is temporary, but so is this world. The kingdom of God is eternal, and those who remain faithful will step into something far greater than anything they could have achieved on their own. The trials of today will be forgotten in the light of what is to come. The sacrifices will seem small when standing in the presence of the one who called you by name. Earth's struggles are heavy, but heaven's rewards will far outweigh them. Beyond what the mind can comprehend, victory is already won. The battle may still be raging, the enemy may still be attacking, and the struggles may feel overwhelming, but the outcome has already been decided. Jesus secured victory on the cross, and no force in heaven or on earth can undo what He has accomplished. The enemy fights not because he has power, but because he knows his time is short. Every attack, every trial, every challenge is not a sign of defeat. It is proof that the victory is real and the enemy is desperate to stop those who walk in it. The world may look like it is falling apart, but God's plan has never been shaken. The trials faced today are not the end of the story. The suffering, the setbacks, and the struggles are temporary. What is unseen is greater than what is seen. The kingdom of darkness wants to convince believers that they are losing, that their prayers are unheard, that their faith is in vain. But that is a lie. The war has already been won, and those who stand with Christ are already on the winning side. This victory does not mean there will be no battles. It does not mean there will be no hardships, but it does mean that no matter what comes, those who trust in God cannot be defeated. Every obstacle will serve a purpose. Every setback will lead to greater strength. Every opposition will be an opportunity for God to show His power. The world may not recognize it yet, but the truth remains. Those who stand with God are not fighting for victory, they are fighting for the victory. The final outcome is already written, and nothing can change it. The time for wavering is over. The battle lines have been drawn, and the choice is clear. Stand with God or be swept away by the deception of this world. Darkness may rise, opposition may increase, but fear has no place in the hearts of those who know the victory is already won. This is not the moment to shrink back, to compromise, or to seek the approval of man. This is the moment to rise, to stand boldly, to walk in the power and authority given by the one who called you. There is no need to chase after those who reject the truth. No more begging to be accepted, no more watering down faith to fit into a world that is passing away. The doors that close are not your loss. They are God's protection. He is raising up warriors, strengthening His people and making a way where none existed before. Miracles will not cease. Provision will come from unexpected places, and the faithful will be sustained even when the world falls apart. You will be hated, but you will never be forsaken. You will be misunderstood, but you will never be alone. The struggles of today will seem small compared to the eternal rewards that await. Now is the time to decide. Will you stand unshaken no matter the cost? Will you walk in the supernatural path God has prepared for you? The world is growing darker, but that only means the light must shine brighter. Victory belongs to those who refuse to bow. Stand firm. Keep your eyes on eternity. The kingdom of God is at hand, and nothing can stop what He has already set in motion.